What's up guys, this is Coach Donny with ElevateYourself.org. Welcome to my volleyball coach reaction to Haikyuu Season 1 Episode 13. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who also provides volleyball tutorials, jump training videos, and other volleyball related content on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe and click that notification bell so you never miss a video. Also, I'm excited to announce our Black Friday sale where you'll receive 30% off all Elevate apparel and our 12-week bodyweight jump training program. The sale only lasts from November 27th to November 29th, so make sure you use the discount code and link in the description box below to get your Elevate apparel and bodyweight jump program while supplies last. Thank you for the incredibly detailed explanation between the two spellings of Haikyuu. This anime has some hardcore fans that know so much about the background information and every detail of the anime. Is this normal for anime fans to know this much about a show? I remember growing up and watching anime when I was younger, and I was just hoping to see some cool action scenes and wait for the good guy to beat the bad guy. The phrase of giving Oni his iron club is such a unique way of giving someone an extra advantage who already has an advantage, which is a super cool analogy for giving Hinata to Kageyama to make their play even stronger. Are these culturally specific analogies explained in the anime, or do the fans just research them on their own? This is definitely my second favorite quote of Haikyuu. Because people don't have wings, they look for other ways to fly. That's so poetic and inspirational for all of us to strive for achieving the impossible. Thanks for confirming that K-pop hair number 2 is the childhood friend of Kenma. I think it's awesome when a tall, good-looking, athletic, popular guy like Kuru is friends with someone completely opposite like Kenma. He sets a great example of how we should never discriminate for who we socialize with based on external factors like looks, social status, how cool they are, and so on. We should always value someone based on who they are as a person and what their character is like. No wonder Neko is one of the top volleyball schools even though they don't have the best talent, but it's partly because they have a great leader. I appreciate the reminder to watch the extra scenes in episode 13. Someone also listed all the beginning and end scene changes for me in a previous video, but these regular reminders are super helpful because I can be very forgetful. I think it's funny how Japanese players in this anime are using English words like nice serve instead of their own native Japanese phrases. It makes sense how it can be a form of encouragement, like wishing someone a good serve. In America, we just say, let's go or you can do it. I wonder how someone would react if I said nice serve in America before they serve. We only have 3 more spots before we reach 150 members on my Patreon to enter a chance to win a free Elevate lightweight hoodie and lanyard. You'll also receive exclusive volleyball and training content when you join the Elevate Yourself Patreon, which you can sign up for in the description box. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. Man, I love that animation when the ball is spinning in the eye. And that shaky camera makes it feel like you're actually there. There's some advanced animation techniques. Ooh, that was suspenseful. There's Hinata with this crazy hair again. Oh, another miss. Ooh, great save by Daichi. Called hitter coverage. Another great save by the libero. Ooh, triple block. Another good save from Neko. Even when he runs, he's expressionless. Ooh, that's determination. One thing that the Mohawk guy did really well is after he got blocked, he actually came back and attacked the ball with the same aggression. And that's really important for hitting psychology and confidence. A lot of hitters, when they get blocked, they'll usually tip right after because they're afraid of the block. But I always encourage my players that if they get blocked, go hard again at the block and maybe just aim at a different spot, because you cannot take yourself mentally out of the game and let the other team know that you're afraid. Taketora, I gotta remember him because I'm probably gonna like him since he's similar to Tanaka. Yeah, that's because they're trying to change things up on the fly to try to make Hinata better and give him a chance to change direction. That's a good coach there, seeing his players through the progress. Oh, a pair of Oni. Now I know what Oni is thanks to you guys. Nice server. I've been there before. So this is what we call getting chested by the ball, at least in America. And that thought process that Hinata was going through was he wasn't sure whether to pass the ball with his platform or with his hands. And we're kind of stuck in that in-between ball. There's two ways to deal with that. The first way is to make sure you have good footwork so you don't get caught in that situation, because as long as you keep positioning your feet behind the ball, you're going to have good spacing to either pass up here or down here. But when we hesitate, that's when we get caught in that chest ball situation. And sometimes it's just inevitable. Sometimes the ball will keep floating and rising when you expect it to drop. And when that happens, you have to do two things. You got to step forward and take it quickly with your hands, so you're cutting the ball off at a higher point before it drops. Or you can open up your body or fall back so you continue to let the ball drop and pass it with your platform. And sometimes that's just a really good float serve of making it really flat and making it float. But just know that if you're constantly getting chested by the ball, or if it happens 30% of the time, there's definitely something you can do about that. Kaba Kaba. That has a lot of steps. Yeah, high off the block. That's such a good celebration. Gotta steal that one. Oh yeah, stare him down, Hinata. Yeah, don't try too hard. Keep a level head and the game in your mind. Fukunaga, that was the last name of my math teacher in middle school. Ooh, look at that slide. That's a Hinata spike. Ooh, this is so cool. One-on-one. And they push each other to be better. That's right. Oh, he missed it again. A miss hit, but got the point. I love it. They had the same attitude. I mean, that's why he was cheering Hinata on after he changed direction. Enforcer versus enforcer. There we go. That's Kuru, K-pop number 2. He still calls him Shrimpy. That's right. Get mad. Maybe because he wants to beat him with speed because he's playing against a taller opponent. I wonder what he means by vanguard. Oh, that was crazy. Alright, let's go back to that play here. So this play is partially unrealistic, but also partially realistic. So what Hinata's running is he's running a fake front quick set and then jumping sideways. Now Hinata was just flying off the ground at lightning speed, so it doesn't happen that fast. And also you see how his whole waist is above the net. I think there's only 2 players in the world, Alexander Savin and Lionel Marshall, that got close to the waist, but I don't think they ever got their full waist above the net. This is crazy, like a 60-inch vertical jump. But the principle of this play is actually very realistic, where you run a trick play, you go quick in one direction, and then you fade in another direction. So Hinata actually could have faded to the left or right, and it's because he's trying to avoid Kuru and beat him in between the block. So you see how he's aiming in between those 2 blockers here. Good intuition, Kageyama. Yeah, sometimes you have to make a move. That's the evil look. Easy pass from the libero. Ooh, now they're doing their own trick play. Ooh, this is advanced. Of course, Hinata gets hit in the face again. Oh. A-quick is a front quick set, a low set. So I do want to go back to the back row attack. You see how the setter is jump setting, and then number 4, Tanaka's twin, I already forgot his name. They're trying to draw the front row blockers, and they ended up drawing 3 blockers, and the setter's actually going to set right over the middle quick, and that means the back row quick can hit over the block on the way down. So the blockers are jumping with the front row hitters, and the setter is purposely missing the front quick on their side so that as the blockers in the other team are falling down, the back row hit gets a clear net. And another thing that Neko did really well is they had a quick transition. And to make things even quicker, the setter set the quick hitter, who's Kuru. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, so feel free to correct me. When you set a quick hit in transition, it gives the opposing team less time to set up because the other team is probably still gathering themselves after the ball goes back over the net. So this is a really smart setting sequence from Kenma. The first play, he uses the quick set to draw the 3 blockers so that the back row hit has nobody up. And then he does the exact opposite in transition, where he sets the quick hit and banking on the fact that the other team is not ready because he didn't set the quick hit right before that play, if that makes sense. There we go with the well wishes. Nice serve. Oh, powerful hit. Great dig from the opposing libero. Oh, I think that was the pump 1. That's an old school play. Hopefully they'll show a replay of what that looks like from a better view because you can't really see it from that one. There we go. So here, Kuru has the same timing as the A-quick, which is jumping right when the setter touches the ball and the setter sets a low fast set. So by having that same timing, he draws the blockers up again, but then instead of jumping, he pauses, he waits for the blockers to fall down again, and then he jumps. So the way you execute this is the setter has to set a little bit higher than an A-quick to give your middle time to do a pump fake. This is something that you actually see both at the high school level for some of the more advanced teams and definitely at the professional level. Yeah, it was very popular in the 80s, and then recently it's become more popular. Kenma still has no reaction. He got to set his best friend though. I'm sure he's happy inside. Old man is laughing at him. Yeah, Karasuno's just a little inexperienced, and that's okay. Ooh, this is a cool analogy. A cat against a little baby crow. And it's great that Ukai is being honest with the assessment. That's the only way to make the right decisions. Oh, we gotta look at that dig again. So this is great digging posture. Notice the angle of Nishinoya's shoulders and hips. And remember how I talked about in previous episodes how in order to dig the ball well or to pass the ball effectively, you want to try your best to get your feet and body behind the ball as best you can. And even if you have to pass the ball off center, your body is generally in the plane behind the ball. And this is a great example of off center digging. And the way Nishinoya is doing it is he's angling his shoulders back to the target. So he's dropping his inside shoulder, which is his left shoulder, and that elevates his right shoulder, which recreates an angle back to the center of the court. And his hips are open to allow him greater range of motion for his shoulders. Ideally, you do want to keep your hips facing the net, but if the ball is really far out of your reach, you do have to open up your hips to allow you to reach further. But the consistent factor always has to be that you are angling your shoulders by dropping your inside shoulder so you can angle the ball back to the center of the court. Yeah, sometimes you gotta talk in intense terms. Tanaka, I love his sharp teeth too. He's like a shark. Rough and awkward. Crush it. Wear him down. Ooh, Tsuki got a block. Come on, say something snarky, Tsuki. No comment from him. Ooh, force a timeout from Neko. Let's see what their assessment is. Don't rush things, yeah. Some good words from an experienced coach. Oh, 22-23. He's getting so amped up. Oh, he's gonna dump it. Oh yeah, that's the right time when your team is not expecting it because you're just banging it out on offense. This is an interesting observation from Ukai about the coach for Neko. One thing I've learned as I've grown older and matured as a coach is I just don't get riled up as much because I've witnessed a whole variety of situations and not many things come to a surprise when you've coached for a while. It's just about knowing how to manage those experiences. So this is a really cool contrast between Ukai and Takeda, who are on the bench, who are involved in every play and jumping up and just getting really excited. And then the coach for Neko is just sitting calmly, and even in his last timeout, he was just having a very calm demeanor and trying to keep his team focused. Now, I'm not saying you should never get excited or never yell, because there's definitely a time for that. Just look at all the top coaches in the world. They do have moments where they're very energetic. But in general, coaches should remain calm Because if you get too excited, then your players are going to get too excited and they're going to lose focus and play inconsistently. So you have to set the example for what calm and confident looks like. He's still standing. Oh, got it on his first. Oh yeah, take that shirt off. He got it on his first try. Man, that's just way too many steps on the volleyball court. Ooh, that was great. That was such a cool play. So they're running a double quick. So Tanaka, number 5, is running a quick set in front of the setter. Hinata is running a quick behind the setter. So hopefully you're drawing 2 blockers with them. And that leaves Asahi, I think, on the outside, alone one-on-one. And that's definitely what you want to do with your most powerful hitter. Give them 1 blocker and a lot of court space. And you're usually going to get a kill in that situation. So this is a great strategy that Kageyama is executing. But remember, it takes a convincing approach from both Tanaka and Hinata to be very convincing decoys. So they have to think and act like they will get set. Otherwise, the opposing blockers won't follow them, and then the play will not work. Ooh, it was Daichi, not Asahi. Vanguard. Someone please explain to me what they mean by Vanguard. The only thing I know about Vanguard is a financial company. 23-23, this is super close. Maybe Vanguard means their hot hitter at that time. Ooh, setting decisions. Oh, but the libero read him. Chance of ball. Uh-oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, dang, another cover. Let's see if they go at it again. They should set Hinata. Give Asahi a break. Or maybe set Tanaka from the back row, because he hasn't been set yet. Yes, the determination. He is going to set Hinata. Ooh, laser time. Is he going to change direction? Oh, that libero is awesome. He's going to save it again. Oh, Okuma is speaking. Oh, another great save. Cover is going to land on the back line. Oh! Defense kills. Ooh, that's what it means to connect. That's that blood flowing. And Kenma still did it with no expression. Sometimes you do your best and you still lose, and that's okay. So I want to add on to what Ukai is saying. Karasuno actually did all the right things. They set the right players at the right time. You see how Kageyama set Asahi. Asahi crushed it but got dug, and then Asahi hit the ball and redirected it, which means he hit around the block on the overpass. He got dug. Kageyama felt Hinata's presence, and he felt like he was the one that was the most determined to finish the play. Hinata hit his hardest. They got another touch on Neko. Another person reacted, and then they just worked hard, and then the ball landed on their side and kept in play. So one takeaway from this is that at the end of every point, there has to be a winner and a loser, right? That's obvious, but I think sometimes we lose sight of that. And sometimes we feel like just because we work hard and do all the right things, we deserve to get the point. But the reality is we don't have any control over the result. It can be a bad ref call, you can get a lucky touch, or sometimes the team is just better than you at that moment. Now in this situation, Karasuno's offense was better than Neiko's defense, and I wouldn't say that Neiko's defense was necessarily better than Karasuno's. They just happened to work hard at the right moments, and they got a lucky drop on the other side. But one thing I've learned about luck is that you cannot win without luck, and you can create your own luck by just working really hard all the time. But that requires everyone to work hard all the time. So I can see more and more why Neiko is successful. Yeah. One person is not slacking off. Everyone's on the same page. Muay Thai. Oh, they're going at it again. Oh, 6 sets. That's great. That's great experience for everyone. Yeah. Hinata's been riding his bike since he was born, so yeah, he has unlimited stamina. I love his determination. Oh, I'm sure he was sad that his greatest opponent was retired. Because when you play against great people or coach against great coaches, that brings out the best in you. What a great compliment from the opposing coach. That's some good character. The Battle of the Garbage Dump. Yes, at the Spring Nationals. I think it's really gracious that the opposing coach from Neiko took his time to congratulate the other team even though they beat them. And one thing we don't realize as coaches is that even the littlest things we say can really have a big impact on our players. And as coaches, it's important for us not to just be responsible for our own team, but to also help raise the next generation of volleyball players. And that goes way beyond your team. One thing I try to do at the end of matches, especially if it was a great game, whether we won or lost, don't just shake their hand, but I do try to compliment a few players that exhibited an exceptional performance, whether we won or lost. Because those type of qualities should be encouraged and should be acknowledged. And I think it means that much more when it's coming from the opposing coaches. So I definitely like the head coach for Neiko. Why are they cursing at each other? Oh, face off. Oh, he's gonna compliment them, or he's gonna ask him to be his friend. Oh. He's gonna Oh, ask about Shimizu. Neither does Tanaka. Oh, what a nice guy. Now they are bonding over their affection for Shimizu. This fandom is so awesome. Even if she ignores you, it's still amazing. Okay, Yamamoto and Tanaka. I gotta remember those two names because I'm definitely gonna like Yamamoto. Kageyama's also fanboying. Oh, the introvert's running away. That's cute. Man, this is just fanboy after fanboy connection. But this is what true competition is like, right? You inspire each other, you bring out parts of each other that you never knew. This reminds me of the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, who are both two very legendary NBA players. I highly recommend looking up, I think there's a documentary on their rivalry between the Celtics and the Lakers. And they hated each other's guts when they played each other, but they also looked forward to playing each other because they knew that because they were the two best players in the NBA, they brought the best out of each other. And one of the most touching moments is when Magic Johnson found out that he had HIV and he was going to retire from basketball. Magic said one of the first people to call him was his rival and enemy, Larry Bird. And he just cried and he said, I've looked forward to playing against you, even though I hated you all these years, and now I don't have that honor anymore. And then they ended up becoming amazing friends because they had such mutual respect for each other, even though they were bitter enemies much of the time. So definitely check that documentary out. That's cute. They got the same personality too. Super excitable. Who's Suki's fandom partner? Ah. Yeah, they both kind of had that sneaky smile, soft-spoken, but still too cool to connect with anybody. Oh, the two great liberos. This is just one of the coolest, most awkward exchanges. Yeah, mutual respect. I love it. These are just socially awkward boys who don't know how to connect with each other, except for Hinata and the other middle. Yeah, he's like a true samurai, always working on his craft. He's persistent. Yeah, enthusiasm, persistence, those are all good qualities. Oh, that compliment meant a lot to him. I bet you he's thinking that in his head. Oh, no, he just said that out loud. He's competitive. Oh yeah, I love that demon. Soulmates. Who's got the better shaved head? I would love it if Yamamoto also took off his shirt and twirled it around. Who's squeezing the hand harder? I thought that was only an American thing. It's funny that that happens in Japan too. The aggressive congratulations. Yeah, Hinata's offended by that comment. That's the most emotion I've seen out of Kenma. I can tell he does like Hinata. Hinata's just honest and himself, and just very innocent and true to himself. Alright, here's the ending. I'm going to watch it. These are some team photos from both the teams. This must be Hinata from the future, because I don't recognize that uniform. Like he's waiting to become the new little giant. One thing you notice about these end screens is that the quality of illustrations and animations are actually higher quality than the regular show. Looking at the sunrise together, or are they just admiring Shimizu together? Yep, and Hinata's just running for no reason, of course. Flying like the crows. I think they're talking about if it was a tournament, they would be eliminated right away. So having those extra matches was a huge privilege. Yep, everyone's determined and Nishinoya is already stretching. Uh-oh, no more previews. Here's my immediate reaction to episode 13. Thanks again for the reminder to watch the end scenes and the bonus footage at the end. It was definitely cool to see that new end scene. And here's another animation insight. The reason why the intro and outro tend to have more complex animations, more detailed drawings, and more fluid movement, because they're going to be the same intros for every show. So they can spend a lot of time on it and then repeat that animation for each show. If they try to retain that same quality for the regular show animation, it would take forever. Because not only do you have to draw more images, because the more fluid movement is, the more frames you have to include, but you have to include triple the amount of detail, and that's just not realistic for a 30-minute show compared to a 1-minute intro. It was really cool to see how Neko functioned on a deeper level and how sophisticated their offense and defense was. Neko is a great example of how you don't necessarily have to have the best hitters to be a great team. And the most important component for winning games is to have a team that works really well together and works very hard together. And you see this all the time in sports, but especially volleyball. When you see two teams warm up and you have one or two hitters from the opposing team just crushing balls in the hitting lines, that doesn't guarantee that that team's going to win. So that's one tip, is to not get intimidated by a team's warm up, because you really don't know how a team's going to play until they start playing. I especially enjoyed the ending scenes where the teams were connecting with each other after the game, and there was a huge fandom fest where each player from the same positions were admiring each other, and that reminded me a lot of my high school days. I remember there was one tournament that I went to. After the teams played each other, we had a 1-hour lunch break, and that's where a lot of the hitters got together and just hung out and admired each other's skill, and we ended up doing hitting lines for a whole hour, and the entire time we were just super supportive and excited to hit with each other and admire each other's skills. So this definitely brought back memories from my high school volleyball days. It's cool to see the parallel between Ukai and Karasuno both being very young in their volleyball careers as a coach and as players, and to see them both learning and evolving. So not only do you get to see how a coach evolves in their experience, but you also get to see how a young team evolves into a mature team over time. The interaction between all the boys was very accurate, how it was socially awkward, very intense, very indirect, and poor communication skills. And coaching 10 years of high school boys volleyball, that's very accurate. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. Don't forget about our Black Friday sale, where all Elevate apparel is 30% off, and my bodyweight jump training program is also 30% off. Also, if you've been enjoying these reaction videos, please consider supporting me on my Patreon, where you will get access to exclusive content like my private blog, live Q&A sessions, monthly podcasts, behind the scenes footage, and more. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.